Hello everyone, this is Dr. Tom Chaney and welcome to this video. This video is a review of the food sensitivity test produced by EverlyWell. So I have gotten a lot of patients coming in asking me about this food sensitivity test. I've seen it promoted here and there. So I wanted to go ahead and shoot this video and give you my opinion and results because I actually did the test and I'll share those with you. So first off, those of you that don't know about EverlyWell, it's a food sensitivity test. They actually send you a kit to your home. You can actually do it at home, which makes it very convenient. It's a 96 food panel. It's an IgG food panel. IgG is one part of the immune system. It's looking at a delayed onset reaction is what this test is looking for. It's the kit looks like this. So they send you that in the mail, and the kit's going to come with everything you need. It's going to have the lancet, it's going to have your alcohol swabs, it's going to have your cards. So you're going to prick your finger and you're going to drop that blood onto a card, and then you're going to ship that sample into the lab. The lab is going to analyze it, and then they're going to give you results. So I'm on their website right now. So I'm on the dashboard, my dashboard. And so what I did was I ordered two kits, and I did both of the kits on exactly the same day. So I wanted to see how reliable, how accurate these kits are and the tests are. And so what I found in the past, because I've been doing food sensitivity testing in my office for quite a number of years, probably a decade or more. And I have switched from time to time. I've seen that there's been consistency issues, accuracy issues. Maybe the lab just isn't keeping up with the latest research. So that's why I personally changed. I'm always looking for the best test to offer my patients. So that's why I've changed personally. But I wanted to check into this and be able to answer my patients' questions about my opinion on this test. So I wanted to, really check into how accurate and consistent it was. So that's why I did the two tests, and because that's one of the issues that I've seen in the past. And I'll talk about some of the other, pros and cons of this test. So definitely, there's one pro is that they're going to ship this to you at home. You can do it at home. Makes it really convenient, and then you're going to ship it in. You can go into their portal. It's a very user-friendly portal. So you can see my food sensitivity test is complete, and there's they registered 16 foods that came out above the normal range. So they look at foods in high, moderate, or mild reactivity ranges. So that's what they're judging is. I had 16 foods that came in either mild, moderate, or high range. Now, if I go over to my other test result, so I'm going to scroll up to the top, and you're going to see 14 foods on this test. So 14 foods versus 16 foods on the other test. So there is some consistency issues. So we'll talk a little more about that and why that could happen. So let's scroll down. So one high reactivity food, and so that's the highest reactivity was for egg white. So that came back at 144. Now if I go over to my other test and I scroll down and we look at high reactivity, I also have one food. So both of these came back. Egg white came back in the high reactivity. This one came back at 144, so pretty darn close to that other result. Now if I go down to the next category, so moderate reactivity here. So two foods came back in the moderate reactivity range. So first one was coffee at 68, and the other one was green tea at 59. So 68 and 59 for both of those coming in at the moderate range. If I go and look at my other result and scroll down, you'll see I didn't show any reactivity to any in the moderate range to any of the foods. So nothing in the moderate reactivity range for any of the foods. In the mild reactivity food range is 13. So I had 13 foods that showed a mild reactivity, And those included, you can see them here, almond, cashew, coconut, coffee, cow's milk, egg yolk, garlic, grape, green pea, lamb, peanut, winter squash, and the last one is yogurt. The other cool thing about this, it tells you some hidden sources. So if you click on the actual the food, it'll tell you some hidden sources where you can find that, and so you can be proactive about avoiding it. Now let's go back to my first test. And if we go down to reactivity foods, mild reactivity foods, I had 13. So some of them are the same, but some of them are different. So you can see almond, asparagus, cashew, coconut, cow's milk, egg yolk, garlic, grape, lamb, peanut, sesame, winter squash, and then yogurt. Okay, so those were the mild foods. So there are, in my opinion, some consistency issues. If I give two samples at the same time on the same day, I would expect them to be very, very similar. So I did have some foods that showed up on one test that didn't show up on the other test. I had these two that came back in the moderate reactivity zone, these two foods that I didn't have on the other test. The other thing that I would tell and just share with you, one of the reasons why I use the test that I use in the office is we don't really know how these foods were tested, as far as if this was a sample that was cooked or raw. And that's really important because I'm not typically eating raw egg whites. So if they're testing raw egg whites and I'm coming back high to raw egg whites, then I want to know that, because when you cook egg whites, you're going to change the consistency of the protein, and I'm going to have a different reactivity. So I would want to know, I would think that they're testing this in its cooked form, but I don't know because they don't specify. So they don't specify. I didn't see it anywhere in any of the literature that I read through. And that's going to be the same for other foods. For example, let's take another example, like, let's see, cashews, of course. You could have them roasted or you could have them raw. And once again, they're going to be a different consistency, or they're going to have different proteins, and you can have a different reaction, one versus the other. The same with, say, asparagus. So if you had a raw asparagus versus cooked asparagus, different proteins, they can elicit a different reaction. But with this test, I don't know. They don't really tell me how this was tested, what the sample was that they used. So I'm just kind of left to guess on that one. Now, they give you some other suggestions down here, like as far as using an elimination diet, which is great. But I can tell you that, a lot of times what happens, and the reason why you have this immune response is a lot of times there's gut issues going on that may be contributing to these food sensitivities. And so eliminating it is the good, of course, the first step, but then we have to get in there and usually do some repairs and just get the intestinal tract functioning better, and working on the immune tolerance. And that's also one of the areas that needs to be worked on. So yes, we need to eliminate the food, but the body isn't just going to correct on its own. We're going to have to look at the immune system, look at the gut and the GI tract, and then we can get your body functioning at an optimal level. Now, just some of the things that you should know if you're looking at doing a food sensitivity test, some of the things that are important that could possibly affect your food sensitivity test. If you're on something that suppresses the immune system, like a prednisone, any type of steroid-based medication, that could definitely throw off these tests. So that's something you should know, and definitely not do them until you're off for maybe a couple months, that could definitely alter these. Because what it does, it just suppresses the immune system. You don't have an immune response. So you could do the test, it comes back, and you look at it, and it says everything's normal. And so you would think, wow, I don't have any food sensitivities, when what is going on is your immune system just doesn't have the ability to elicit a response because it's so suppressed. So just something to think about for those of you that are out there that are, these are usually chronically sick patients. And so you would think that, hey, I don't have any issues with any foods, but it's really not a valid test. Okay, guys, so I hope you got some good information out of this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you like this video, share it. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We're always putting out tips and strategies to improve your health naturally. And so once again, leave your questions down below, and I'll be checking them, and I'll be happy to answer them. You guys have a great day.